All right, we're live. All right. I'm not really. There's no point doing introductions. But if you listen to the show, you listen to the show. So let's continue from. I don't want to even laugh because the thing is, I probably wants to laugh, but it's out of frustration and honestly out of fear. Because these days, it's just like, what is going on, you know? And the funny thing about it's not even only about the gun violence, but like I was saying, I'm watching ABC News in the morning, and they did like a 4-part series. The young man who got shot on the doorstep, then the birthday party, at the dance studio. You had that one there. They had the cheerleaders. Then you had the other one where she was a gymnast, and they pulled into the wrong driveway. And you're talking about, in these cases, people are shooting children, whether they knew they were children or not children, but they just shoot indiscriminately based on what exactly? Is it like, I'm just scared if you come on my porch? That is a problem? Like, it's like, out, bro. I don't know, but now I'm just like, yo.
You forgot the 6-year-old and her dad and whoever else was shot in Charlotte by the guy today because the ball rolled in his yard. Yeah.
Huh. But see, now this is the issue. This is my issue because, number one, I really believe there are people out there who understand why you would have a weapon for protection, or because it's part of your job. And I feel there's also people out there who have weapons who have that itch to use it.
Oh yeah.
They just have the itch to use it. Like it's like you buy that sports car and you got to try to see what it feels like to hit 150.
Oh yeah, I got mad tickets in my Mustang back in the day. It was a cherry red one that I had it souped up. I got tickets. Folks in New York say I got mad tickets. Right, I used to go dumb fast, and then so my gun views are very interesting because I definitely believe in folks. I don't even want to say right, but again, the privilege to be able to have a firearm. But we've just gone firearm stupid in this country, right? So, again, most of my folks are down. I grew up in Memphis, and my folks are North Mississippi. People hunt. I've never saw people go hunting with the type of weaponry that people are just buying, and folks don't really go hunting with AR-15, 30-06, right? 30 rifle, people, they're hunting rifles. Yeah. I go hunt with no AR-15. Even though it's a defense tool if you got hogs on your property, if you have coyotes, if you have other game that are. No, this is utter foolishness. And two,
but let's do this. But there are people out there. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I have no shame saying I have not handled a weapon in many, many years. The last time I actually handled a firearm was when I was in the military. It was part of my actual responsibilities. Okay, so based on that, I understand that going back. I'm gonna date myself. Back then, the standard issue weapon was the M16.
Yeah.
You're not going hunting with an M16. You can kill. You can kill. Unless you are just a spot on shot and you're gonna take the animal's head off. But shooting the animal, the M16 at automatic, you're gonna tear the meat up. And not only that, you're just gonna poison. You're gonna poison the meat.
I think I said that before. It ruins the carcass. That's why Matthew McConaughey was saying, after Uvalde, Texas shooting happened, that they don't want to show the pictures of what 5, 6, and 7-year-olds look like shot up by an AR-15. Like, you don't want to see that because you're not going to be able to unsee it, right? But even hunting, it ruins the meat. And don't get me wrong, I've handled and shot AR-15s, and my folks down there have property. We mainly would shoot AR-15s for fun down in the woods, or if again it can be a defense tool if you have huge chunks of property, but you really don't need it. I've always said a shotgun does the job for home defense tools for the most part, right? Don't put slugs in it, right? You don't want anything that's gonna go through the wall and kill your babies, right?
Mm-hmm.
A basic handgun with keep it in a safe. I don't know about folks with trigger locks. Nope, I have a fingerprint safe, but it is a tool. They are tools that people need to learn how to use, but we also need to do some common sense. No one needs weapons of war. I'm sorry, you don't need a 100-round drum. You don't need an extendo, right? And if you say, "Oh, I need it," and I'm out there hunting, what exactly are you hunting? Because if you ain't hit it in the first shot or two, I give you a second shot. Chances are you're not gonna hit it.
You're not.
Shotgun home defense tool, because when you hear the rack, that is the universal get the out my house sound. Most people will run, but it spreads. I mean, and let's be real. Like anyone that has tactical training, like when you're rounding a corner with a long assault rifle, if I like, it's not practical to round close corner stuff because if I grab the barrel, you're effectively disarmed. Right? If I grab an idiot just run around, oh, I got it on strap. If I grab your strap, you are going where I want you to go. In close quarters in a house, that is not the tool that you want to rely on. You know what I'm saying? And you just shooting indiscriminately 5.56 and 2.23 rounds. Some people are gun illiterate, so I'll tell them the rounds. Those can travel through drywall. Those will travel through windows and keep going. So you're much more likely to kill someone or gravely injure someone that you love, care about, or your neighbors or something like that. So it's just like people have gone completely crazy, and you couple that with the stress of inflation and all. Like people are going off the deep ends. People are like literally shooting. There's a 12-year-old, a sixth grader. This didn't make national news because it's Baltimore. It's just a black boy in Baltimore, sixth grader, murdered in the projects. I think somebody shot him up with an AK-47.
Damn.
Now, I don't know what that little brother did. I honestly don't want to know, but like we're talking about a child that you feel the need to chop up with an AK-47.
You know, let's think about that. 6 years old. What were you doing at 6 years old?
This was a sixth grader. It was
I'm
12.
sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry. Sixth grader. So we're talking about
either
12.
way, I mean, it's still we're talking children.
Yeah.
Like the guy with the ball rolling in the yard fired your weapon
I'm stuck on that
at
one, man. That's
children.
crazy.
The guy in New York, the castle doctrine, I don't even know how he would make an argument because they were literally trying to leave. We're at the wrong house. Okay, yeah, you got your weapon up because I don't know what's going on. Two cars pull in, motorcycle with them. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not automatically. What are you moonshining? Or you moonshiners don't even do that? What are you running drugs? Like I wouldn't automatically fire at someone if I have a huge property. Well, let me figure out what in the world they got going on. Oh, this looks like it's just a bunch of college kids.
And even in that scenario, when you have that many people, my first thought is not to fire. But my thing is this: if they're really there to do me harm and they got guns too, what are we doing here? Yeah,
man. I saw a video where Navy SEAL was saying, people were asking him, what would you do? You get in a bar fight, you just gonna kick ass? I run. They're like,
that's
what? Like you one of the baddest dudes on the planet.
Jocko Willix, the former Navy SEAL commander, he said, I saw that they asked him, so what would you do in a scenario where you had to defend yourself? He said, I'd run.
Yeah.
Because all the things that could happen, number one, me losing my life, or even worse, you losing your life. And then all the things, me possibly going to prison, all these different options, the best thing for me to do is use my 2 feet and get the heck out of there.
Yeah, and run. Oh, I don't want to be seen as a coward. Okay, cool. At the end of the day, I want to get home to my wife and children. If you got a husband and kids, cool. If you get whatever you got and kids, like cool. Like, but at the end of the day, That's what I'm trying to do. But so many people are stuck by pride. People watch these movies and they get caught up in these movies and think that, oh, once you take someone's nah, like if I can get me or my family away from a situation, I am getting away from a situation. Now, is just as sure as we're talking here right now, if I'm cornered and I don't have a choice and it's me or you, it's gonna be you every time. I mean, it ain't no mistake, like it's no mistake about it. But if there's an opportunity for me to get away and not have to deal with it, like why would you want to be in a firefight? Why would you want to be shot at? Why do you want to be shooting at somebody? That's not fun and or cute. And any shit, but people literally, I think, have literally got caught up in these movies, and when you see people at the gun range and they're like shooting like this, like what are you doing? Like, or you see people, I'm like, you gonna tear the slide, gonna come back. I hope it tears your flap of skin between your thumb and your pointer. Like literally, people have gotten lustful of guns and weaponry and have gotten lustful of weapons of war. And you don't need a weapon of war as a last defense tool, nor do you need a weapon of war, honestly, to ward off most animals if you have a significant property. Let's just like be real about that. And like again, toxic masculinity, some people call it hyper masculinity or this. I need to not be a punk. Let me show everybody that I'm tough. And man, listen, I'm trying to stay alive out here.
Let me ask you a
I'm not.
question.
Yeah.
So, it's official, and I'm going to write a little piece for LinkedIn about my return to a principalship. I'm excited about it. So I'm going to start talking about it more often now because I had to make sure it was a certain thing and everything, all the T's were crossed, I's were dotted. And I've only been away for not even a whole school year, But one of the things that was my concern then, and it's still my concern now, and I know for a fact that you understand where I'm coming from with this. Now, more so than ever, I think because of social media and there's cameras everywhere, we're seeing more and more young people. We're seeing more and more children, 10, 11, 12. I'm not even talking about like 16, 17, 18. I'm talking about just young kids out here, popping off, ARs, Glocks, whatever it is. Now we have these, what do you call them? These ghost guns.
Ghost guns.
Ghost guns. You could buy the parts and build it yourself like a Lego set. And not only that, being here in New York with drill music and this space now where these kids are literally rapping about what they're about to do and doing it, and the age numbers are so, these are babies. And I'm asking myself, how did we get here? How did we get to this point where their brains, that level of right or wrong, or this is just pretend, you don't do this in real life, but there's consequences. That's been completely eliminated. And one thing I can tell you is over the years, just sitting around, listening to what kids do, and I'm thinking about, and I know I'm going to sound really old to those of you listening, but I'm finding a correlation between games, like, Grand Theft Auto and all these spaces where you have these kids are mimicking behavior. Because I remember I'm an old head. When I watched Rocky when I was a kid, I wanted to be Rocky. Like, bro, as a matter of fact, I wanted to be Creed. But still, like, I'm thinking, okay, when I saw the Terminator and Rambo, in my brain, I wanted to do that. But there was a space where I understood that was not really reality. But now we have kids, 6th grade, 5th grade, who are out here in the streets and are killers. And my question is, what needs to be done? Because I don't think anybody's really talking about this. Because we're talking about SEL and social emotional and all that stuff. No, there's a point now where we are literally at war with our own children to get them back. And how do we fix that? Because right now, this is not being covered in the news. And you know it's not being covered in the news. You told me about what's happening in Baltimore. It's happening here in New York, it's happening in LA. These young kids who are turning into damn near serial killers. And how do you know about them? The kids in the neighborhoods will tell you about them. Like, no. So-and-so is doing so-and-so. No. So-and-so is doing so-and-so.
Now, I don't know about everybody and where they came up, but where I came up, these kids, and I'm not like, sometimes we laugh to keep from crying. So I know somebody
Yeah.
see that. Is he laughing on that? Yeah, sometimes we laugh to keep from crying, right? So I'm laughing to keep a little bit from crying. I, like I've always known like children, peers of mine that I grew like that at like that you can get it,
Yeah.
right? That would, stone killers. Like many of them are in prison right now, serving long sentences. Many of them are no longer here. A couple folks still floating around. I, I, One, it starts with parents, I think, and specifically, and I know some people are gonna, people always, it starts with men. Because these are not little girls.
You
Little
can't say it.
girls are
Yo,
not.
you can't say
Oh,
that now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
You
gonna
might get
say it.
canceled.
Whatever. I've been canceled, so I'm not. First of all, I'm not even on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that anyway. Right. So the minute they start, everybody was a gangster on Facebook and everybody was a gangster on Twitter. Like my thing is, and you know this about me, if I got something to say to you, it's not a
Say
secret,
it.
and I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be aware. You gonna know it. And I ain't ashamed, ain't hiding, ain't doing anything. Now, either you gonna punch me out, we're gonna have a civil conversation, or you gonna pull out your gun and shoot me in between the eyes, right? Like, but either way, and 9 times out of 10, I'm not making a comment that is going to arouse you to anger where you need to shoot me in between the eyes or punch me. Though some people are a little bit loose brained like that, but yes, I never worry about getting canceled. Like for what? Who are you to be able to cancel me? Like you don't have that type of dominion. You don't have that type of power. You are not Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Rahim. You are not Ra Shem. You're not you are not a divine entity in any way. So when people, I've heard someone say that before they would go cancel me. And one time back in the day, I'm not gonna call her full name, Zakia L. said she was gonna put a voodoo spell. That's back when I was a terrible young man. Terrible young man. Shout out to all the terrible young man. Y'all need to be better. Y'all heard me say that. Be better. Please, please be better. But yes, I'm like, who are you to put something up? Like, you don't have that type of dominion and power over my life. Right? You don't get to be able to do that because my power is without limit as far as I'm concerned, and I'm a self-centered, arrogant ass, and I always been that way, and you don't get to rule and domineer and dominate my life. Now, and I can be a bit misanthropic at times. And for all you folks who need an SAT lesson, misanthropic, a hatred of all of mankind, indiscriminately hate all of mankind. So that includes all races, types, body types, transgender, whatever. Now that I'm done with that rant, men need to step up and be men and teach these boys, not just black boys, not just Hispanic, these white boys that are stone cold killers, mass shootings and all. These little black boys shooting the hood, or the Spanish boys shooting the hood. The men need to step up.
It's the
And
line effect. Remember we
boys,
talked about that? The line effect.
yeah,
What
lion
happened when the
effect,
lions were
elephant.
not there? What did the cubs do?
Yeah, no, it was the elephants there.
I'm sorry, yeah, the
That were
elephants. I'm sorry, yeah.
that were like is literally that simple in nature. Like lowland or mountain gorillas, so we know there's a silverback. We also know there's an alpha male elephant. wolf pack. We know there's gonna be an alpha male. There's gonna be that teaches everyone else how and what to do and how to stay and be in line and be a wolf, be a gorilla. Well, we don't want to step up and teach boys how to be men. And just because you're an adult male with the penis does not make you a boy. Y'all see, I'm talking so loud that my 1 year old came down here to see what daddy is talking about. And I don't know,
Daddy, you good?
daddy, you good? You going in. So y'all gonna have to forgive me. Zuri Amelia Oni is floating around here. Tyson be the last name floating around here. But that, to me, that's the one of the nexus of the problems. Now we can get into culture and, you know, schooling and school being socializing institutions, and we're getting exactly what we put out of it. We can get Jesus, she wants to read her book. Mama don't know where she's at. Um, but we can get into, you know, culture. We can get into the fact that rappers, especially these jokers, are claiming to be hood. Y'all, they all lie. They are not like, yo, they may have came up in Harlem, but first hand they live way out of Jersey. They don't stay. Yo, got them. They don't live in no Memphis in the projects. They just rapping and making money. They talking about stuff. They not doing this. They not about. They're not. No. So people are like, they need, like it is entertainment in the same way that movies are entertainment. But I think all this bombardment of entertainment, all this bombardment of social media with the algorithms that literally feed whatever your desire is, it just continuously feeds it in a loop. Start a new account and Google one or two things, and then watch what feeds. Or go on YouTube and start a new account and watch how it feeds you. Don't sue me for a defamation thing, but, you know, hey, well, you can't sue me for defamation when it's actually true, right?
No.
But I think that at the core of the issue, and that's talking about how we got there, the roots. But a part of the solution is, it's just men need to, because it's not little girls that's committing these horrendous acts and
Oh, there
crimes
is
for
here in New York City.
the most
It's
part.
getting
No,
there.
no,
In
no,
New York City,
I'm
it's
saying,
getting there.
for the most part. I mean, there going to be some odd cases. Little girls commit those type of crimes almost, to me, like when white people are like, oh, well, Archie and Larry made it out of certain environments, and there are plenty of examples of black people that,
Yeah.
yeah, just because a couple people get through the cracks and a couple more get through the cracks, they pull a couple more people through the cracks. That don't mean that the masses of that. Yeah, a couple girls do some heinous things, a couple more girls do some heinous things, but overwhelmingly, it is boys. It is, yeah, it is boys. My major concern typically always are little black boys, but men of all kinds need to step up and put an end in this foolishness. And if you're teaching a little white boy, a little black boy, how to be a hateful, spiteful, racist, sexist, chauvinistic, misanthropic little nutcase, then don't be surprised when they act out in a way that is detrimental to your family, their health and wealth, your family's health and wealth, and our society's health and wealth.
But okay. Everything you said, I agree with 100%. But all right, let me paint a picture for you. Every neighborhood. This could be LA, this could be New York, it could be Harlem, it could be Memphis, it could be Vegas. Any hood you go into, you're gonna have the wolf pack of kids doing whatever they're doing. But then you're gonna have grown men. Maybe then they might not be. They're probably not exhibiting the silverback gorillaness that they need to exhibit. Who just like, you know, they see the kids. I'm gonna turn left and right. I'm gonna avoid it. But I just gotta take care of my family or not to get caught up. Because again, how do you speak to these young men? You know, how do you engage them? Because we live in a society right now where once upon a time, the OGs, The OGs ran the blocks. They're no more OGs. You got OGs that are 19. 20-year-old OGs, and these are the adults. These are the elders that these young kids listen to. But there are elders. There are grown men like us who are in these communities, but we say nothing. And I'm using we in general because I know we've both chosen professions that put us in the midst of that, but we can't do it by ourselves.
I don't think folks don't say anything. It's whether folks actually are still listening and show respect in the same way that they once did. I think a lot of these boys are here on multiple drugs. They pill popping like crazy. I don't care what race they are. Like they out here popping these pills, and you see them with them eyes, they are gone. What's the song by Mac? That's slow your roll, keep that eye. Yeah, anybody out there know? Well, he say, "Little daddy told me like a grown man." Whoa, slow your like. Yeah, I done had a little tot look at me and said like a grown man, like, "Oh, slow your roll." Oh, you got it. Well, I ain't getting shot. But again, when there's opportunity to be able to speak. And the reason I said parenting and then zoomed into men is because one, families matter. Now y'all can say I'm Republican, conservative, whatever. Families matter. There's something to learn from mom and dad. There's something to learn from whether you got mom and dad. But like families matter, right? Structure matters. That discipline matters, and too many of these boys, and I don't care of what race, have been over coddled, have been given trophies for absolutely earning nothing, told that they are they're the best, they the sugar honey iced tea their entire life, only to find out they 18, 19, or they get to a certain age and they find out, oh, I'm kind of subpar and average, and they mamas. So many single moms, even married, don't want you to say anything to my baby because I don't want my baby to scrape his knee. I don't want anyone, including Mr. Principal Man, who been there, done that, Mr. Teacher Man, who been there, done that, to say anything to my baby in pocket or out of pocket. Now you got some moms that are like, you got some moms and some parents that I had some great parents in Baltimore. Like, nah, like I want my kid. Like I've had some great parents, but you have a lot of folks that literally don't want you to say anything to their child or correct them when their child is engaging in complete and reckless behavior. No, don't say anything to my child. Don't touch my child. Like, what are you talking about? Like, someone needs to say something to you. Look how you look how you look up here at school. Right? And again, I've had parents of all kinds, shapes, and races that have came up to school buildings. Like, what are we talking about? Like, so again, I start with parenting and zoom into men, right? But it literally starts at home. Now, how we got here, all this mass media, all the video game, all this consumption of all this, yeah, they're mimicking behaviors. I mean, like, you remember a lot of folks that, you talk to old heads, and I'm like, what am I saying? Like, I might be the old head now, but like my old heads, they remember when Scarface came out.
You're officially an old head.
I'm officially an old head, right? Cool. I take it as a badge of honor. I made it. I can't believe I made it.
OG status.
I know a lot of dudes that didn't make it. A lot of chicks that didn't make it, man.
Facts. Didn't
see 20, didn't see 30. So seeing 40 years, man, a blessing of some.
Isn't that funny when you think back? Some of these cats, you're like, man, they're forever 19. They're like literally, my memory of them and connectivity and emotions is from my youth. Because in my opinion, even at 20, I was a grown man, but I was still dumb as rocks, doing dumb shit. So it's like, you think about that, to be where we are right now in our 40s, man, sometimes it still blows me away because I'm like, man, I know too many people who that this was not even a close option, not even a close
And
option,
it's such
a reality.
wasted talent and wasted genius. But I mean,
Yeah,
like bottom line is again, what I was saying is when Scarface came out and everybody was, oh my God, wanting to be Scarface, Tony Montana, and all that. I mean, it still lives in infamy in music and all that. And I just say, all this is make believe. All that is make believe. All like the rap, yeah, they talk about stuff and they ain't doing that. They like I heard one of the rappers say, "Nah, I ain't scared of nothing. You a new fool then, cause in them streets, you scared of everything. You might not show it, but you afraid of everything, cause everything got to get you. What you mean? You going to spend the night in the jungle? You think the jungle is not out to get you? Everything trying to eat there, right? So it's make believe, but kids have really bought into this, and they don't. So many boys don't understand what it means to be a man. They've gotten the wrong image. Now I can get on ladies because again, anyway, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole this evening, but I just say men need to really step up to the plate and be fathers, be surrogate fathers, be older brothers and uncles and grandfathers, and make sure boys are brought along, or you're going to continue to see this happen and it will get worse. You cannot let social media educate your children. Let me say that. You can't let it educate your village. You can't let video games and movies be the education of your village. You have a voice, you have passed along, you have transgenerational memories, stories that you heard from your grandfather and grandmother, that they heard from their grandfather and grandmother, that you ain't shared with your son or your daughter. And that's your fault. Take responsibility. That's your fault. There are some valuable things that ancestors passed to you that you ain't even thought about in years, but like that needs to be passed along. And then my last thing I'm gonna say is, um, people are comfortable and trifling. I went to Cuba. They say Cuba's economy is collapsing. I was just in Cuba like 2 weeks ago. I didn't see a collapsing. I saw folks that were poor. I saw, things that were rickety and run down, but I tell you what Cuba was. It was clean. I didn't see almost any litter in Havana.
was
And I
everybody
saw
eating?
people were eating, people were dancing, people were
And they
drinking.
had,
Of course you
and
got poor
they had
people.
homes. They had a
People
place to
had
stay.
homes. People had places like, of course there were poor people. Of course there were mentally ill people. I didn't, but you know what I didn't hear about the entire time I was in Cuba? A mass shooting. Ain't nobody walked into no
How the kids
school.
behave? How the kids behave?
I mean, of course, you got kids running the street, you know, 10 o'clock at night,
But
same
they
way you got
kids.
here, but they're kids.
They kids.
You also got kids that you were very respectful of their kids. They were just kids. Well, my point is, we oftentimes hear, boogeyman things are spooky and da 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 da. Well, like, okay, they're poorer than us, but they're not ducking bullets to go to I went to a local beach. 'Cause, when I go vacation, I don't go do all the tourist stuff. We stay in the Airbnb in Old Havana. They didn't stay in no rich like nice Airbnb. But I'm like I stayed right in the heart of the thick of stuff and went to local beaches, and people just out there with their families. No one was worried about a mass shooting at the beach. I'm still looking side to side, kind of, still in my. It took me a couple of days to shake out my paranoia. No one was worried about a mass shooting at the restaurant or the club or just like that. They just weren't. But we definitely have to be here. So is it something about all of the stuff that we're consuming that's training us? Is it something about family, home values, or schooling, or so? I like can't quite put my finger on it, but like we scoff at people in them being traditional, and this is for all my lefty friends out there, we scoff at tradition in some cases, and in some cases I'm very non-traditional as well, and we scoff at other people's traditions, but other folks in other countries ain't in some countries ain't ducking mass shootings. There are insurrections that may be happening in places, not everywhere. There are, incidents that happen. People, there are drugs that are moved, but nobody just walk into a church and just kill everybody or try and kill everybody. Certainly not like a young male who has their whole life to look like. Not to sound messed up, but I'm just saying, at 20, at 20, at 20, listen.
You're not thinking about going to church and shoot up a church. that's
I'm
in the
trying
realm.
to go. I'm trying to see. Yes, let me.
Let's
Fast
keep it
cars,
PG-13.
ladies, and all kind. Like, yeah. So I just don't understand. Like, maybe they need to be. I don't want to push anyone to be chasing ladies in or something, but I don't know what are you doing that you need to go and shoot something up? Because at that time, listen, I ain't trying to go in there and bother y'all. I'm trying to see what these gals doing. I ain't trying to be around like messing with. So it's a lot of stuff to fix. A lot of stuff to fix.
I agree with you. Family is very important. That's the foundation, and also men, very very important. I was talking to my wife about this earlier this evening about how the one thing that I know that presents itself when I'm in the midst of young people is my adulthood and my manliness. I don't have the thought in my brain to not speak truth when I see something that's wrong. As a principal, it got me in trouble. It didn't get me in trouble. It didn't get me in trouble. It troubled my life. Because you would have those parents. Oh, you talked to my child about this, the way you spoke to my child. I'm going to do it again. If I see something you're not supposed to be doing right, I'm going to check you. It's not that. It's not even a question. I've had older siblings of students of mine who were like, oh, I'm grown. I just graduated. I graduated from college. I'm 22, and they got checked too. They got checked too. Because at the end of the day, bad behavior is bad behavior. And yes, do I ever think in my brain like, could this backfire on me? Yes, it can. It could, because I might deal in a situation with a young person that might be mentally unstable. Like you said, a lot of our children are consuming things they shouldn't be consuming. But it doesn't change the fact that, bro, I grew up in, listen, let me go back to Nigeria. Man, I remember one time I came to school late. That's all I did. I got to school late. They closed the gate. They did have morning assemblies. And guess what happens when you get to school late and the gate is closed? You stand right there. You don't be like, okay, I'm going to go to my friend's house. But everybody in the town is going to be like, you're in uniform. You should be in school.
They're isolating him. They're ostracizing him.
Nope.
They're making him feel like he's less. And like literally, this is all the crap we would hear.
I stood there at that gate, and I just waited for the gate to open, and I knew what was going to happen. Okay, I do not condone corporal punishment and anything like that, but this is the era that I grew up in, and I walked in there. I got my butt whooped. I got my butt whooped literally by the headmaster. Then I went to class, and guess what I was worried about? What was going to happen on my way home? Because my mom was going to find out that I got to school late, and I got my butt whooped as well. So for her, the embarrassment. Why would you bring shame to our family? By going to school late. Then not only that, they had to flog you. You brought disgrace to the Njoku name. So that's in my head. I'm thinking to myself, this is dead man walking. Like the longest walk.
we talked about this. Like they're not. Okay, so Sister Ryder here made a comment about teaching empathy, and we certainly, absolutely need to be able to teach empathy and like teach kids how to socialize. And I 100% agree that like if you're consuming this social media and seeing folks like Kid Rock shoot up beer cans because they made a can to a trans, like I don't give a like, I'm not gonna mess up what you got. I don't give a shit like who they put on. Don't drink the can with the transgender dude on if you don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what like literally y'all
Vote,
are
decide with your wallet. Like it's that
right.
simple.
But I'm saying, but like, okay, yeah, you can not go buy Bud Light, but like, why? Like, why are you taking Bud Light in the backyard and shooting it up and saying I'm not gonna like? Is it that serious? Like, do you really like like, do you really care what someone else is doing in their bedroom? Like, does it really like? That's a Chick-fil-A argument. Oh, they're open on Sunday. They don't believe in whatever. Like, do you like? Okay, like that's their position. Some companies have a different position, right? But is it that far off the deep end? Are they saying that like? So I just think when young men continue to consume certain stuff, it becomes problematic, and over time it can become very very fatal. And poor parenting. Folks ain't scared of their parents. You said the key word when you were leaving school. You were like dead man walking. Like I was terrified. Okay, in my mind, my mom came to the school. It was gonna be a problem, right? She would hear me out. If Reverend Tyson had to come to the school and leave the plant and drive all the way across the city to come try and deal with an issue that I have taught you how to conduct yourself, right? There is a line that you can cross. But if they had to call me in, the only thing that could have happened is somebody jumped on one of your brothers or sisters because he knows that we have a pack mentality. If you touch one of us, you fighting all of us. Period. It don't matter. It don't matter if they're in the wrong. It's still my brother. At the end of like it don't matter. Right? You see that firsthand. Like it don't matter. It don't matter who said like this. If I'm with you, I'm with you. If we out together,
Facts.
if you my
Facts.
dude, if you make it like if you with me, hey,
You
hey,
go high, I go low. You go low,
right.
I go high.
Straight up, straight up. This is who I am. This is who I've always been. I ain't going out there looking for nothing. But if
Oh
if if,
man.
it, if it's my if I consider you my put it like this, if it was somebody at the birthday party, it don't matter what they done did. Like I'm with them, right? So, but I mean, like I would tremble in terror if they had to call my father to the school. Cause that's the only thing that could have. I could have literally. The teacher could have slapped me, and he could have seen a handprint on my face. In his mind, it's something that you did. How could? What
In
did
my
you
father's
do to
voice,
anger
what did you do?
somebody? Right, to
What
anger
did you do?
somebody to the point where they need to slap you. Yeah, we can deal with the slap later on, but what did you do? Right.
Isn't that
So
crazy though? It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like the first thought was, "What did you do?" Now, if the explanation was like, "Wait a minute, they put their hands on you for that reason," then it was a problem. But the expectation was that you deserved it off the bat. So you were guilty before proven innocent, not the other way around.
They
Oh
knew, they
man,
knew, they knew my teacher, and they knew, like know your kids. They know me. I was mischievous. I get put out of every class, but they also know that I was a straight A athlete. Now I'm not gonna, but like so I'm just like there. The point of that is it's a healthy fear and reverence for your parents, for your elders, right? That healthy fear, that discipline that's instilled, like it is missing in so many. It's still there in many households, but it's just missing in so many households. It takes a lot to embarrass me. I'm almost a non-embarrassable person, but like I remember when my grandfather was called on the phone because I was showing out my grandfather, Archie Richmond, was called on, and my grandfather literally, I kid you not, this is how he talk. Hello. He didn't do anything fast. Brilliant man. Was a land surveyor. People from the universities used to come and ask him about tree diseases. He's just but my giant principal, Mr. Holland, I didn't realize that Mr. Holland grew up not far from my like I didn't realize that my grandfather like knew Mr. Holland like at all. I didn't realize Mr. Holland's mom was the cafeteria lady at a, and I know it's a proper term, food service nutrition. Somebody gonna hit me on that one too. Counsel me for that. I call it cafeteria lady because I love. Shout out to all the cafeteria lady. I love the cafeteria lady. I grew on. That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
fat now. Right? They were like they were some of the most respected people in schools. I don't know how that changed over the years because you can't say anything to anyone's child anymore. But his mom was a cafeteria lady at Russ College, and my mom went to Russ College. Like, I was like, oh my god, like this is all. Like I was like just so embarrassed to hear my grandfather's voice on the phone. Like I couldn't even pick my head up. It weighed like 100 tons.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that my grandfather was gonna yoke me up when he saw me, but it's the fact that again, like you are of me. When you really introduce yourself, you should say Archie, son of Jimmy, son of Gail, grandson of Archie, grandson of Hesse, grandson of Solarian, and grandson of Eddie. That's how you should really introduce. And like it's the fact that you, bearer of my name, don't know how to conduct yourself. I mean, like I don't know if I've ever been that embarrassed before or since. And I was like, was I middle school? Or I was high school. I was either eighth or ninth grade, but like, yeah, because I was a wild nutcase, right? But I'm just saying, like, there's no healthy fear, no reverence.
You know something you said, and I'm reading comments from Paula Ryder, and thank you, Paula. Thank you again for contributing comments. This the last post you talked about self esteem, and I believe it's very important that we build the self esteem for our children. But I think we do it wrong today. And I am not a proponent of fifth place trophies and you know,
No.
or if you don't do well in school and on a test and it's like you know what it's okay. No, let's talk about this. Let's break this down. Like my father would be like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's come up with a plan because this is not acceptable. One of the things about my self esteem, it didn't come from being patted on the back. It came from knowing who I was because I am the son of Kingsley, the son of Boniface, going back to multiple generations to a man whose name was Njoku. That was his name. Birth name was Njoku. He was devoted to the Yam God of our people. And from him came 5 sons that in our community they could only be king. So where I come from in Nigeria, only 5 families can produce the heir to the throne there. Okay, all those things, even though I'm here in America and I'm here in New York, my behavior, even with eyeballs not on me, like literally not on me, I know impacts. It says something about my past, my ancestors, my family. That was something that was very, very important. Like you said, you realized how connected your family was to many people. So they knew more about you than you knew about yourself. You know, and that's how it
Literally.
was in Nigeria. It is how it was in Nigeria. So me walking home when I messed up, the funny thing was at least one person on the road would say, I feel sorry for you when you get home. I'm like, damn, how do you like I was
Feel
like
sorry for you, because they know it's gonna be a problem. Like,
you
and
know,
I think people let kids get away with stuff. Like, yo, no, I'm not your friend. My job is to protect you, provide for you, and show you how to navigate this world for good, better, worse, whatever. But I think, like, again, I reached off camera because I like literally this photo is in my bag anywhere I go. When I finish this doctorate, this will be sewn into my jacket, right? Anywhere I go. When I graduated college, and that's Calvin and Priscilla Tyson. That's a picture of them when they
Wow.
were elderly, but that's as far as we can back
Wow.
in my family thus far. Though I still have
Wow.
some research we want to be able to do. But they were born. They were born like when people say like slavery was so long. Like they were born enslaved folks, right? I always say being a slave is a state of mind. But I think to what they had to endure to allow me to have opportunities. And I literally had this conversation with my father today. I said, I don't even have the right to be lazy. I don't even understand how cats are like you come in seventh place and you want a trophy. I don't even have the right to come in seventh. Like my dad's been working since he was like I don't know 11. Like no joke. Um, my granddad probably has had a sixth grade education before he passed. But like, what gives me the right to even not put my best foot forward? Yeah, I know it's going to be a lot of traps out there, and I know uh, not all white people, but there are a significant population that are highly invested in protecting white supremacy, and I don't mean to right to the right and out there marching. I mean like just protecting privilege, whiteness as property, right? Whiteness as a value. Again, I told last week for folks to read White by Law, Haney Lopez, so they can understand the legal construction of white. But people are invested in it, whether they are outwardly invested in it or whether they just reap the benefits and privileges of it every day. And they do some things to help out folks, but they're not going to not be invested in a system that maintains them at the top, right? It's what it is, right? And I'd be happy to get on a debate with folks, but I just don't have the right to not put my best foot forward. And I remember, and I'll say this and shut up. In my last school, I got into it with my teachers, and I ain't the type to get into it with folks, right? I'm not a get into it with you type person. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. We can have a conversation, but I don't go do a whole lot of back and forth with anybody about anything, right? Not even with Mrs. Tyson. Like I'm not a back and forth type of cat. Like, okay, tell me what it is. Okay, we'll do it or we're not do it, right? But if I say I'm gonna do a thing, I do a thing, right? One particular kid was just eligible, was gonna win most of the top academic awards, and he was a killer athlete. He was gonna win. Well, we can't really give all the awards or most of the awards, to him. Why? He earned them. And the only reason it's not a she in there because I had an all boys school, but like he earned them. If somebody wants to knock him off of his high horse, then they're gonna have to put some
So for
blood,
clarity,
sweat, and tears and get better.
so clarity, he won the awards based on the
Criteria that was set.
criteria saying higher score, this, that. So
Yeah,
it wasn't like we have to vote on who we love the best.
right.
Like no, it's
But
performance based.
some teachers wanted to be able to, spread it out. Okay, we'll spread it out to encourage everyone. No, the
Nah,
encouragement
man.
that everybody gets is he's freaking awesome. And it ain't just nature or genes. He works.
He put the work in.
If shoot 1,000 shots, he do like Steph Curry because he know that I'm sure like if you shoot 1,000 shots, he gonna shoot 5. If you do 20 push-ups, he gonna try and squeeze 100 out. If you say you going to University of Maryland, he gonna say, "Oh, I'm going to Harvard." You say you going to Princeton, he say, "I'm going to get like."
Yeah, we
He
don't we
will.
don't celebrate kids like that. We try to tell them they're doing too much. That's what we tell them.
Yeah.
They're doing too much.
But or we take accolades away from them
Away.
because everybody's no. If these I'm finna be country now. If these jokers, somebody was like jokers. Yeah, I'm from Memphis. Y'all see that Grizzlies? Shout out to the Grizzlies fans. We're gonna take the Lakers out. I see my brother
Oh
has that
damn.
Lakers hat on. Well, I was gonna throw it in there somewhere. But shout out to all the Grizzly folks down there and Beale Street Bears down there. Shout out to all my people that was out
I
at
gotta represent. I gotta represent for the West Side. You know what I'm saying?
eating
We're gonna
eating
figure it
Uncle
out.
eat, all my people that were eating Uncle Lou's and Gus's fried chicken down there in Memphis, you know what I'm saying, when they won the game yesterday. Yeah, shout out to all y'all.
Roscoe's. All y'all was over at Roscoe's. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what?
A
You know
fat
what? We
burger,
can sound like you want to do a little friendly wager because I can send you some Gus's chicken. You want to send me some Roscoe chicken and waffles, and I can send you some Uncle Lou's, and we do a little
Listen,
exchange there.
I've been down south, bro. We can't compete. We can't even come close. We be faking it.
My thing is the diaspora is everywhere, man. Roscoe's, they do their thing.
Nah, but it's something about like. Listen, I've been to Nashville. I've eaten in Nashville. I've eaten in Atlanta, and I lived in North Carolina and South Carolina in the military. Bro, it's different. It's different, bro.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Well, you got that big fat dude sweating. He's literally sweating on the grill.
Man, the
But it still
dude
be
that
delicious.
used to cook I can't even remember his name now. He's as wide as my desk. He was huge. Walking down the street in the wintertime sweating, coming to work to cook the chicken at Gus's. That boy gave each individual piece of chicken love, and it was the line used to be around the corner. They were like, "Big boy cooking today." Oh, he cooking because he just looked like, man. It's something different. I do agree.
Yeah.
Food can be a very regional thing, but again, as I was saying, like we gotta like everybody. If you want a trophy, go get it. Put in extra work, but don't assume me and you are the same. It's like when we had young folks, I had to come and tell my nephew. He's like, "Oh, you got a nice house. You bought your wife a new." I don't have a new car. I bought my wife a new car. Gentlemen, take note. Uh, just giving them a few life skills, right? Ladies, like you better believe it, right? I see you doing your thing. You got to you getting your doctorate. We're not the same. I put in a lot of work, a lot of classes, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Right? You want to like everybody want to go get a new booty and new breast, and the dudes getting fake abs and pumped up. Like it's crazy. Like
Yeah,
nah,
they
you
want
got
that
to
instant gratification.
right. Like it's work. Like it's work. Right. And if you don't work at it, if you don't put the right things in your body, it doesn't work out. Like so I'm just like, folks, like tell the truth. Tell kids the truth. Like, no, like if you like my daughter loves to cry. She's a crazy athlete. She might be a great gymnast one of these days, but when she don't do she want to cry. Like tears ain't getting you nothing, and it ain't got nobody no Cadillac or a house yet. It's an emotional response. Yep, I give you a hug, tell you you're okay, and tell you, yeah, you didn't nail that, so you need to try again and try again and try again. And if you fail 50 times, it's gonna help you be able to stick it later on. And that's what like we got so many folks that just coddle. Let
Yeah.
me coddle. Yo, baby, you're okay. You did it perfect. No, you didn't do it perfect. You're okay. You are my perfect little baby, but you didn't stick that landing. Let's keep it OG. And my football coaches used to tell us it's probably against the law these days. You know what I'm talking about. They used to call us some sorry bitches and all kind of crazy.
Listen,
crazy stuff.
listen. Okay, can you relate to this? Practice, and everybody is struggling, and coaches is like, you know what? Everybody stop, circle up. Wait a minute. We're struggling. So should you talk to us, motivate us? Nah, we're gonna go into the bull ring.
Bull ring.
Go to the bull. Wait a minute. So you gonna beat us
I'm gonna
up
weed
more?
him out. I'm gonna weed him out. Weed him out. Right.
But
My job on kickoff used to be to try to make folks quit. You remember when he's like? Now I'm not saying you want injuries and you want blah, blah, but like what I am saying is people used to not let you stay on the team
there was a
if you
term.
were a quitter.
You remember this? They don't say this no more. They don't say this no more. When you lay the hat on somebody,
Hey,
laying the hat. I'm listening to NFL college. They don't say that anymore. But back in the day, lay the hat. And yes, I understand. It was stupid. It was. I mean, I know. I've had my own shares of concussions, but however, it taught me something. Stop crying
I'm just
and
saying,
just
Marine
get
Corps
it
drill
done.
sergeants, they can't curse people out like that and use that type of abrasive
No,
language
no,
towards
no,
them
no, no,
anymore.
no, no, no. Listen. Now you can get. Now you can request a timeout.
Right. I'm saying,
Literally,
like,
like
how do you weed? Like, how do you weed it out? I don't want you on my team if you're gonna quit in the fourth quarter. And that goes for football, and that goes for life. When things get bad and you're on my team, I need for you to be thinking, finding solutions, trying to push through, being innovative, not just shrugging. I don't know what to do, and I just quit. No, you don't want nobody on your
Facts.
team. I don't care what you play. Like in overtime, everybody's tired. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's black and bruised. Yep, I'm gonna be peeing blood in the morning. Yep, like everybody's hurt.
People don't know
But like,
about that.
who has it in them to go that little extra mile to get that playoff win? And my thing is, if you don't weed that out at football camp, if you don't weed that out at practice throughout the season, and make folks quit, because my thing is, we run out of dogs. You know what I'm talking about when you would do anything not to be last. You ever had a knee injury, a hip injury, a hip flex, a hip pointer, and you still out there trying to hustle, but you can't. But you just like, yo, I'm gonna beat this kid though. I'm
Listen,
not gonna be last. I know that much.
getting my shoulder popped out of place, and me being like, you know, I'm like 16, but I'm thinking like, pop it back in. I told my boy, pop it. He popped it back in. Coach is like, you good? And I lied. I'm good. Because in my brain, we're at war right now. We're playing this school, and and it's funny, but some people might say, some of your woke heads might be like, it's just a game. It's just sports. Why would you do that to yourself? But guess what? I know that I'm where I'm at right now because of those moments. Those moments where I said to myself, you know what? I made a commitment to this thing. You know, it might not be important to anybody else. It's important to me.
It's something big. I made a commitment to something bigger than myself. I made a commitment to working at something. And the guys that I'm probably closest with to this day are guys that I played ball with, or guys I threw the shot put a disc with, or like you build bonds and you make a commitment to something bigger than yourself. And I think that's where you know, you gotta allow room and space for coaches to help mold someone and build there is a tearing down portion, and I'm not for those coaches that only tear down, but you got to tear down some of that old whatever you came to camp as, and rebuild, you know, your armor, and rebuild that, and like that it takes commitment, it takes time, it takes discipline. And I think that again, everyone doesn't deserve to win if I'm the most valuable player, or I'm the most improved, that's because I put in work. I remember this kid I played ball with in high school, and I say this, and I know we're over. This kid was a skinny old shrimp. I know some woke folks like, you can't call anybody a shrimp. Okay, whatever. Not to say that I'm not woke, but I ain't crazy woke. Like when I
I
go to
still
the
don't know. I
store
still don't know what
and I
woke
say, hey,
means.
I'm saying I go to the store and say, let me, my wife wants blah 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 blah. You mean your spouse? I'm sorry. Did you just like like literally? Folks are bold. I'm like, shut. See, that's what triggers the other side, because people are off the deep end and feel that they have the right to correct. So that's the foolishness I'm talking about. But like, no, folks on like, they don't deserve, like, you don't, if you didn't earn it. If I'm the most improved, this kid, what is he called? What was his nickname? Slice. He was a shrimp. Shouldn't have been on a team, but you know what that kid did? I think I was a junior. He was a ninth grader. Man, I've never seen anybody eat so much peanut butter and beef and eggs, push-ups and track. He was gonna make a name for himself. And I graduated, left, and went on. When I came back and watched the game, that boy was a junior senior. That boy was putting in work. But like that, he put in work. I'm gonna get bigger, stronger, faster. I don't have money for this protein powder, but I'm gonna eat this government peanut butter. I said government, not government. Government.
Government.
Shout out to everybody that had to eat government cheese. You know, it was impervious to heat.
You
Yeah,
did
it was.
the peanut butter. You didn't scoop it. You know, you had to cut
No, no,
into it.
yeah, you gotta cut it because it'll tear your bread up. The government peanut butter tear your bread up. Government cheese was impervious to heat. You had to take a blowtorch to try. Yes, yeah. See, that's what they say. Where's the Ivy League? I see the hood. Where's the Ivy League? See, I said impervious. I used misanthropic this evening. I talked about again Handy Lopez. But yeah, it was impervious to heat. But like that boy worked like you ain't never seen it to be better. And guess what? He deserved it. I always said, what was it, dude? Danny Woodhead that used to run the ball for the Patriots and won a couple
Yeah,
Super Bowls with
Woodhead.
Tom Brady.
We had
He was
D2 running back.
D2 running back. He was white. That sucks to say, but ain't that many white
No,
running backs.
no, but the funny thing, he was okay. Running back in the 90s, like the early 2000s, there was white and he was small.
He was little.
He was little.
He was too little. He was too slow. He was strong enough. He wouldn't have that. But you know what he was willing
He
to
wasn't
do?
even drafted.
He would outwork you. Steph Curry went to Davidson. They didn't want him. Too little. He was willing to outwork you. And if you want to knock him off as the champ, knock him off. But don't talk noise if you can't back it up and expect to get a trophy. I
Listen, if
wasn't
you want the
mad when
crown, take the
Draymond Green
crown.
said it's not a rivalry between the Grizzlies and the Warriors. They need to win a championship down there before we talking about a rivalry. He right. What you want me to say? It hurt. It hurt, but he was right. Shit, what you want me to say about it? Like if you want to be the champ and you want to talk noise at a certain level, put in the work. Put in the work, and I'll stop there. Let me take off this hat because need to put my bald head on display for the evening.
Nah, this was a good conversation because at the end of the day, we started by talking about this excessive violence and guns and everything that's happening. Then we transition into our communities and our young people. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we are, you know, keeping abreast of these layers that we have to peel back and the things that we're responsible for doing. You know, you're a father of a son. I'm a father of a son, and even though our boys are still babies, I am always asking myself, what do I need to do to make sure their path is a path that doesn't take them down that road? I can't control everything, but we could put them on the right path. And my one takeaway from this evening, I think that was very powerful. I thank you for reminding me of this whole notion of Archie, son of, and I would say this: show me a strong family and a young men that are brought up well. There is a connection to their past that they're very cognizant of, and they move with pride and a sense of self-confidence around who they are. A lot of our young men don't know who they are. They have no idea. So they're trying to create their identities amongst each other. So you have children. So when you're saying I'm from this gang, you're trying to create your own I'm of something.
Yeah.
And we got to find ways to bring them back to the middle. And that's another conversation. Like literally, like what could we really do? Because I know a lot of people are asking and thinking about this, because you can only walk out your house so many times and not feel comfortable in your own community before you have to do something about it. So that's all I got to say for this evening.
Let me leave him on this. I don't remember the year, but Dr. W.B. Du Bois said, children learn more, I think, better from what you are than what you teach. So forget a curriculum, forget all that shit, but like what you are and who you are matters. And that's the reason I said, like, oh, I'm Archie's son of, grandson of, right? That's who I am and what I am, right? And they're going to learn so much from who and what I am, in addition to what I teach, but they're definitely going to learn more from who and what I am than what I'm going to teach them, and that's going to stick with them. I can teach you to find I can teach you the formula for an ellipse, hyperbola. Look at that, they said the ellipse. Like, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I know some calculus and all that too. Yeah, I know all that. Well, I can teach you that, and they may forget that over time. But if Mr. Tyson or Coach Tyson taught them some life lessons, right? That math may be sticky, it may be, but those life lessons are going to last so much longer and be so much more prevalent and pronounced in folks' lives. So know who you are, know what you are before you dare to go and start teaching someone in a school, in an alley, on a field, in a gym, or wherever you're teaching, because you're always teaching, even if you don't think you're teaching. Just be cognizant of who you are and what you are. And if you're currently a monster, you don't need to be teaching nobody. We don't need more monsters. And if you're currently I'm trying to find the sensitive language to say it.
Unsure of
If you
yourself?
if you're currently a weakling that is unsure of yourself and afraid to step up to the plate and stop seeing a kitty cat and start seeing your higher self and seeing a lion, then like you don't need to teach anyone until you can see that lion in the mirror and want to be that lion. But as long as you're looking at a kitty cat, you can't teach nobody how to be a lion when you a kitty cat or you see yourself as a kitty cat. Just because you grown don't mean that you you need to be teaching a pack, right?
Facts.
But you do need to try and step up for yours and learn from somebody. Learn from some old heads. Go sit in a nursing home. Talk to some of the old Vietnam vets. Talk to some of the old war vets. Talk to some of these folks who raise children and grandchildren. And like, go sit down and talk to folks. They are here around. They're not even in homes. Just talk to your neighbors. There's a lot of wisdom out there that we just let, and they'll share it to you for free. Just bring a bottle to an old head and say, "What's going on, brother, man? Let's sit down and drink this Uncle Nearest and man, just talk." That dude
Straight
chop it up
time
and
time capsules. Time
change
capsules will
your
tell you everything.
chop it up and change your life. That's all I got for you, man. What you are, they learn more from what you are than what you teach.
Facts. All right, with that being said, thank you again for joining us this evening. Until next time, all right? Peace.
This that airtime.